Hi, Andrea. How you doing? Okay, this is reading your writing here. Good job describing um, your design intent and your conceptual development here. This is good. Tells me a lot about the way that you approach the assignment. So that's great. I see you changed the word relaxation to adventure, so you didn't have to change the background image. I think that it works. Just make sure that you have all of those changes reflected in the magazine ad. Now, in the Welcome to Week 6 announcement located in the announcements area, I had recommended in that announcement that you include your magazine ad along with your banner ad here so we can get a good look at the two to check for consistency. But unfortunately, I don't see the magazine ad posted here, so we'll just go ahead and take a look at the banner ad. So if you remember, some of my comments on the original ad were the fact that you were using the word relaxing, and actually relaxing, a relaxed atmosphere is part of the client's branding. So I always recommend that you don't use a really super relaxing image. So my concern is that the background image is showing somewhat violent waves and surf. So I had mentioned that before. So it looks like you elected to change the type as opposed to the image. So the other thing I'm seeing here in this ad is that, which I was trying to get this in the, okay, there we go. Okay, so right now there's a couple of things that are happening. I think it's a good ad. It's a good setup. It's nice and simple. It presents the message beautifully. Good hierarchy. You've met all the requirements with the exception of one, and it's a great idea to include your client's location in this ad. And the reason I say that is because of the location itself. Now, if this were a resort in Florida, it would be different, but it's more exotic. It's located in the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. So that's a relatively exotic location that some feel to be some of the most beautiful area on the earth. So I think that that would really help to spark the viewer's interest if somewhere in this ad you were to include that location. You don't have to include the entire contact information, just the location, located in beautiful St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, or something like that. Okay. Um, the animation looks good, but I think it's a little bit it's blinking too much. I would think it would make more sense if it were to fade in, then fade right back out, and then fade right back in so that it's not disappeared for any extended period of time. Just like it is here, but just extend that fade a little bit. That's all. Just extend that fade a little bit, and I think you'll be fine. A little bit of compromise and hierarchy here, and the reason I say that is because your body, or, I'm sorry, your promotional text here is bigger than the subhead. So you want to probably, I would say at this point, use increase the size of the type for the subhead, making it a little bit more, and then decrease the size of the 20% off just a touch. And the reason I say that is because you really want to preserve hierarchy. So right, a basic hierarchy would indicate that the viewer looks at the headline first, then the subhead, and then the promotional call to action. So it would make sense to design the type and to address scale of the type accordingly. So just reduce that just a little bit and increase that a little bit, and that'll be perfect. We don't want to make this too small. Right now, actually, I think the relationship of the subhead to uh, the headline is a little bit off. I think that the subhead itself could use a bump or two in the scale, by maybe a 1 point or 2 points in the type size. Okay, my only other comment really, well, actually, I've got two other comments. You don't want to tuck this logo way down in the corner. I mean, you're right on the edge there. You want to give a little bit of breathing room. So think about increasing that margin right there. Something, and the descender for the P right there is running right off the ad. So you really want to give that logo some good breathing area so it's not right up against the edge of the ad. And then finally, I think it would make a lot of sense to take this blue type, just sample that color purple right out of the logo and apply it to your type. And I think that's really going to create some wonderful visual harmony and color consistency in the ad. Okay, so those are my recommendations, and I'd like to see those reflected in your final ad. Um, Also, make sure that there's a very, very high degree of consistency between your magazine ad and your banner ad. That's one of the reasons why I asked to students to include the magazine ad along with this particular submission so that we could take a look at the two for consistency. All right, so if you have any questions or comments at all, please let me know, and I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. And again, I'd like to see those changes reflected. You can go ahead and make those changes and repost here along with your magazine ad, or you can just make these changes and make sure that these changes are reflected in your final submission, which is due coming up here next week. Okay, so again, really important. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. All right, great start. Thank you very much.